Sounds good.
Hi, everyone. I'm Savannah Mujikonovich, the Outreach Coordinator for the Fox Valley Advanced Care Planning Partnership. We educate and encourage conversations about planning ahead for unexpected healthcare decisions and assist with completing the Advance Directive. Today, I have Ben Adams with me, who retired from McCarty Law in 2021. He has practiced for 35 years and specialized in advanced care planning for healthcare, decision making, elder law and special needs planning, guardianships, guardianship alternatives, nursing home and long-term care issues, and estate planning. Ben is also a founding volunteer member of the Fox Valley Advanced Care Planning Partnership, and he serves on the Elder Law and Special Needs section of the State Bar of Wisconsin and the Wisconsin chapter of the National Academy of Elder Law Attorneys. Did I get that all, Ben?
Yes, you did, Savannah. Thanks very much. Thanks for asking me to do this with you.
Yes, of course. So I thought today we could get started with what is advanced care planning?
Thanks. Advanced care planning is really looking ahead at things that either you can expect to change in the future medically or with your health, or planning ahead for unexpected changes. Some of us have existing health problems that are going to be progressive that we know about, and everybody in that context ought to do advanced care planning and prepare so that if I can't make my decisions in the future, I've empowered someone else to be able to step in who will legally be able to do that and will also know what my values are with respect to healthcare choices.
Excellent. And how long have you been involved in helping people complete the Advance Directive?
Well, I practiced law for a little over 35 years. So I was an estate planner at the beginning, doing wills and power of attorney documents. So I've been doing it generally that long, but I've really become an advanced care planning advocate for the healthcare side since about 1990, which is about the time I joined the National Academy of Elder Law Attorneys, which is a national group of attorneys who specialize not just in estate planning, but in also being very careful about what lies between now and when I pass away. You know,
Okay.
most people really focus, and a lot of estate planners really focus on things after someone dies. And when everybody died suddenly in the old days, that made sense. But now people very rarely die suddenly. So really, it's more important to look at what kinds of decisions and who can make them while I'm still here if I become less able.
Yeah, I think that's a really great point that in a lot of ways, advanced care planning is about living and
Right.
not necessarily the death piece. I'm really glad you brought that up. How has advanced care planning evolved throughout the years?
It really became, I think, a national focus for a while, starting in about 1999, Savannah. There was a national public broadcasting system, PBS, television special put on by Bill Moyers in those days on death and dying in America. And it was a series that I think broadcast weekly for, I think it was 4 or 5 weeks. And people all around the country came together in groups at local locations to view that and then have follow-up conversations about it. And that was really the beginning of the Fox Valley Advanced Care Planning Partnership, which was originally called the Fox Valley End of Life Coalition, because again, as you said just a minute ago, and a lot of people focus on this as an end of life issue, but it really should be a lifetime issue. So I've really been seeing a lot of changes. Most of our work over the years has been completely volunteer, with people from health systems or from the community who really were passionate about the need for this, making people aware of it, and helping them find local resources to do their planning. So over the years, I've seen a lot more interest both in our community and around the state of Wisconsin and nationally in getting this done and making people aware of the need.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Those are all really great points. And jumping back to, again, like you were saying about how this is more focused on living, what age do you recommend people sign an advance directive or complete the document?
That's a really great question, Savannah, because most people are focusing on this in their later years. One of the changes is originally, I think the focus on this was sort of shooting for people 55 and older. The problem with that type of arrangement is that if somebody's younger, if they're 18, 20, 25 and in good health and they get an accident or a sudden illness, their body is physically more able to continue functioning, even if if they have serious injuries that they can't recover from. And especially with the advent of technology that can bring us back from death and yet not restore quality of life in many cases. It really is essential for anybody when they turn 18. That's when people should do it.
Wow.
So part of our coalition efforts and the partnership efforts, as you know, is to do some advocacy in high schools with graduating seniors and their parents, if possible, and high school staff to help point out the need for this and see if we can get people to be encouraged to do it.
Excellent. Such great points. So out of curiosity, which aspect of advanced care planning, sometimes we use the term ACP, is more important? Completing a valid advance directive document or having periodic discussions with the important people in your life?
Well, Savannah, that's kind of a trick question. That's carefully worded. Those two elements are really what advanced care planning requires. In Wisconsin, especially somebody who you're married to, or if you're an adult and you're not married, but you have adult children, your next of kin are not authorized by any automatic law or statute to make your decisions if you can't do it. So having a document that meets the qualifications of Wisconsin law, that's properly signed in front of witnesses, that's really critical. But that's not any more critical than having the discussions as life and health change with your important friends or family members who you would like them to step in and advise the medical side of the world what should get done and what shouldn't get done and when. And sometimes we're all uncomfortable talking about the possibility of future death. There are a certain number of people who say, if I talk about it, it's going to happen to me. And I've never had a client walk out of my office with signed documents and drop over. But I have always advised clients who were concerned, their concern is normally if I die. And I've always said, if you die, don't worry, your problems are over. If you don't die, then they're still your problems. If you die, they're going to be somebody else's problems who's probably near and dear to you. But it's really a challenge for someone who even is a legal decision maker under a document to make a decision if they haven't had those conversations.
Excellent, excellent points. Do you have any additional advice or little known tips you'd like to add in about advanced care planning?
Well, before we tape this, which is done on July 5th, you and I were talking about the 4th of July and fireworks and things like that. And my wife and I were invited to an afternoon cookout picnic at some friends over on the shores of Lake Winnebago yesterday. And I was talking to a fellow that I had met in the past, but wasn't real well acquainted with. And he mentioned he has MS. And he's walking with an aid. He had a cane, getting around pretty well, doing perfectly well mentally. And he and his wife are both now retired. And I just can't help, even though I'm not practicing law anymore, saying, one of the things you really need to do is take care of your advanced care planning and getting your other estate planning documents reviewed and be sure they're up to date, and having these discussions with your family members. Well, they have children that live around the country who would be their decision makers. And they had actually had conversations with one of their children whose hobby is some hazardous activity like mountain climbing type stuff and rock climbing, right? So they had concerns about him, getting him to do his planning in the past. And I said, really, the next time you see him, I hope you can do that. But I also told him the best way to make sure he'll do his planning is if you can say, we just did ours, we updated ours, because their planning is 20 years old. And if you can go to somebody in the family and say, you need to do this because I just did it, that's a lot different than saying you need to do this, even though I haven't done it. So that's one thing is if you do it yourself, you're much stronger in advocating for somebody else to do it. And the other thing is, because we have community classes through the partnership in the Fox Valley, we have a free class that anybody can sign up for and go to get this started or completed. And my advice is take your family members with you. If you have children or others who are going to be your decision makers, attend the free class together, because not only will they know more about your wishes and what they need to ask if the time comes, but you can all get your documents done. So if you have younger children that are adults and they're going to be your agents, they could complete their documents at the same time.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Ben, for all of your hard work over the years. And as you continue to volunteer, it was great to share a lot of your expert knowledge. And in our next coming segment, we will hear from Bobby Thompson on living longer lives. Don't forget to subscribe to follow for more content. Thank you.